And hi, everybody. Welcome to Rick Snyder's Washington on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, and hit the thanks button. And Steve, you were ready for me, and I'm 3 minutes early, so can't beat you with this. I do appreciate you always being around. At least if nobody else, it's us. But hopefully there's somebody else. So, all right, well, I'll let the room fill up for a few minutes here. It's a couple minutes for 8 Eastern. Next Monday, no show because I realize it's Memorial Day, and the team actually has OTAs off next week. So it's kind of a gap, and then we'll come back and do. I think there's one more OTA and then a mini camp, and by middle of June we're done. I mean, middle of June seems like so far away at times, and bam, it's going to be right on us again. Training camp will be here, and the schedule came out, and all those kind of things now. So it's like, you think people always ask, what are you doing in the off season? Off season always goes by pretty quickly overall. I mean, I get distracted with the Triple Crown and losing money on the Preakness and things like that, but we soldier on. So Wednesday this week, the media will get to see the Commanders OTA. So I'll be out at the park and doing my videos, just watching what goes on. I mean, it's one of those things. Not a lot goes on in a way, but if you know what to look for, you do see a lot of little things that matter later. But without pads and everything, I think you get a fair view of people in OTAs, except for linemen. Linemen, you really can't see who's the dog there. So wow, already Zach's got a question. Any chance of any of the hard knock stuff mid-season? I doubt it because first year coach. That would be my guess. The Jets got it for the preseason. Of course, that's the Aaron Rodgers stuff and all going on. This team, if we look at the schedule, well, I'll do the news first and then we'll do the schedule. How about that? So the news today, write down so I have everything right. The Commanders did hire Brandon Sosna as the new senior VP of football ops, which I always laugh at titles, man. Who knows? But he was formerly senior director of football administration for the Detroit Lions. See these, they everybody wants a good title, but he was there for quite a while. He did a little bit of everything there, so he's a well-rounded guy. And here in Washington, he's going to be involved in contracts and salary cap stuff like that. He's a numbers guy, I guess you could say. And then David Blackburn is coming from Baltimore Ravens to be the director of player personnel. He has 17 years experience with the Ravens, and that's a good organization. The Ravens have a bad year once in a while, and then they can quickly rebuild because they do things well. So that's always a good organization to emulate. What I find a little interesting about all of this is I started covering this team in the 80s, and there was a GM and an assistant GM, and they did all these things that now I don't know how many people are in the front office, more than a dozen, and coaching staff's like near 25 now, when it used to be about 8. But then again, I said in the 80s, the team was worth a couple hundred million, and now it's worth 6 billion. So, you kind of jump up there. Oh, Daniel's here early. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Oh, and Dan Snyder popped up in the news today for the first time. Every once in a while I go Google, see if I can see something in Europe or whatever. But Variety, of all things, Variety covers the entertainment industry, had a piece about how Dan Snyder was really mad at the guys that he paid money, invested, I'll say that, in a movie that was going to be about Donald Trump. And Snyder assumed, I don't know if he assumed or was told, that it was going to be favorable to Trump because Snyder's, has donated money to Trump before. And I guess the movie debuted at Cannes. I haven't seen it, of course. That's now come out here yet. But I guess it's a little disparaging about Trump. And Snyder's really mad, and his lawyers tried to get a cease and desist order. And so I see Danny still having fun out there tormenting people. So I'm just glad he's gone from here. But I waited for, I knew one day something would pop up, and here he is. Now, if these guys told Dan Snyder, hey, we're going to make a movie about Trump, and he's going to be the hero in it, if you'll invest, and they go another way, well, then that's not fair to the investors. But I don't know anything about who said what on this. But it was just interesting finally to see a Dan Snyder story. I mean, the man's got to do something. He can't sit on the yacht. He's got to have something where he can boss people around and torment lives. So I guess that's part of what he's got going on. All right. So that's kind of the news. Of course, everybody saw the schedule on here. I thought the schedule, well, for me personally, the schedule is great because I don't have to work Christmas or Thanksgiving. Thank you. There is no night home games. They're all on the road. So I don't have to get home at 2 in the morning. So just from my standard, it worked out pretty well. I think after 47 years of doing this, I'm entitled to an easier season. And I don't travel. The team is actually traveling the least number of miles of any NFL team this year because they're playing a lot of Eastern teams. They got one game out in Arizona on it. So it's kind of an easier one there. There's road games in Baltimore, there's a road game in Philly, although that's a night game overall. But, I looked at the schedule and I said, okay, everyone says you can't pick wins and losses, but, there are no wins and losses police. I'm free to do what I want. Hey, Todd, thanks for coming. And so I said, okay, first blush, what do you think? I know it has miles to go before you could really do this, but I came up with 7-10. I had them beating the Giants, and because the first game at Tampa Bay and early September, I got to tell you, is roasting hot. Not that it isn't hot here, but that's a tough one. And they were a good team, won a playoff game last year. Then I have them beating the Giants. I have them splitting there. I have them losing at Cincinnati, beating Arizona, beating Cleveland, losing to Baltimore, beating Carolina, beating the Bears. So I have a 4-1 streak in the middle of the season. But then it gets kind of tough. They got at the Giants losing, Pittsburgh's a loss, at Philly's a loss, and Dallas is a loss, 4 in a row. That Pittsburgh, Philly, Dallas, this thing called BetVirginia.com sent me analysis that said that was the hardest 3 games in a row of this team's going to play the year. Then I got them beating Tennessee. They go on a bye on week 13 for the 3rd straight year. What is that about? But that's okay because come Christmas time, maybe I can go to see something with the grandkids, not have to worry about a game. So I'm okay with that. Another thing that Rick likes. Anyway, then they have at New Orleans. I figured that's the best road game, but it's December 15th. Do you really want to go to New Orleans, a week or 10 days before Christmas? That kind of sucks. It would be better if it was in October. I haven't beaten the Eagles in the December 22nd game, and then losing out Atlanta and Dallas. So 7-10 definitely would be an improvement over 4-13 last year. They haven't won a game. I think it was November 3rd last year. So it's been a long time there. Ooh, you guys even know each other here now. How nice. So great. We're bringing community together. I am going to be doing a meetup with fans at a pizza place and a tour. I'm going to do touring Old Town Alexandria in June. I'm meeting tomorrow to confirm a date on things. And so you come buy a ticket to go on the tour. We'll go see a bunch of stuff in Alexandria for about 90 minutes. And then if it all works out, we'll crash this pizza place and we'll talk Commanders for whatever. So stay tuned. I'll announce that pretty soon. Next couple of days, I hope. It's, because people want to meet up once in a while. I don't know why they want to meet me, but go ahead. The other day I went to vote. I'm getting ready to go in there, and this guy goes, "Hey, Rick." And my wife's with me. We're going to vote. He goes, "Hey, man, can I get a selfie?" And my wife looks at me like, "What the hell is this?" I said, "This happens all the time, honey. I can't help it. I'm a man of the people now. This video thing, it was just funny." I said, "I told you I was a big deal." All right, Daniel, I forgot to tell you, I went down to West Palm Beach. I've been there and ran into Pierre Garcon. Oh, okay. It was sad I didn't have any Pierre Garcon for a jersey for him to sign. He was a good dude. Smart guy, too. Todd, do you know when they were going to have the special events before the demolition of RFK? Well, from what I gather, there's not going to be like this public party, within sight. For one thing, they're not blowing it up because they're afraid of any kind of environmental hazards in the air. So they're going to demolish it, and the stadium is stripped clean. It's done. What they'll do is then they can start lowering the upper deck, the overhang. They'll lower it to the ground where they'll cut it up. And then eventually they'll get some bulldozers to knock stuff down and all, but it's not going to go boom. So there isn't going to be some party where everybody counts down from 10-9. They did that at the Baltimore Bridge last month or whatever, last week. They got the boat out of the river, in case you didn't notice, for the one that hit the Baltimore Bridge. That got moved today, so we're back in business in the port of Baltimore, which works for me. Um, so that's why I don't know of any special events. They talked about it, but I think they decided not to on all this. Of course, all we also Tress Way got number 5 out of, gave it over to Daniel, um, Jane Daniels. So he's still got a pick, and the only two numbers left between 0 and 10 are 7 and 9. And everyone knows 9 is Sonny, which is retired. 7 is Joe Theismann. Last guy to wear a Theismann's after the only guy to wear a Theismann 7 since his time was Haskins, and sadly how that all turned out. So I don't think he's getting something in there. He might be, a weird number. Could be 99 or something. I don't know. Somebody else I think has that now. Portress. I brought this up with a team official. I said, I looked into it. Sammy Ball's number was never officially retired. What it was is George Preston Marshall. I saw a newspaper article about this from way back. Somebody showed it to me. Said that as long as George was owner, they'd never have Sammy's number used again. Okay, and then since then, the organization has just followed along as part of a legacy thing, but it's never been a big ceremony, never been, that kind of thing. So I said, why don't you let Tressway rent it for a few years? And when it retires, then the number is officially retired. And Tress is the best punter this team's had since Sammy Ball, among other things. Sammy Ball, and he kicked like a medicine ball back then. He was an amazing punter. I think Tress could wear it to honor Sammy Ball, and then Sammy Ball's number. And the response back to me was, "Nah, it's too much blowback, too much trouble. We're not going to do it. No guts, no glory, boys. All right, whatever." A 00 like Otto. Woo, Steve, I like that idea. I'll bring that up tomorrow, Wednesday, when I see Tress. That'd be cool. I mean, I guess you could do that. We just had a 0 for the first time last year and forever. And Todd says, Tress is a great guy. I agree. I mean, he is a great guy. His teammates love Tress. He's a fun guy, Jeff, thank you so much. You even beat me to the begging part. Jeff kicked in $10. I do appreciate it. There's that $ underneath the YouTube video of me. And if you want to donate money to the cause, because, hey, I do this out of my own time to help you guys out, since nobody else does this kind of show. John does a really good show, but it's more X's and O's kind of thing. So, it's a way of saying, hey, Rick, thanks for doing it, and keep doing it. Because if Rick doesn't make any money, Rick ain't going to keep doing his show forever. I sound like Ricky Henderson talking there. But anyway, Jeff asked, what are the chances we get to 6 and 11? Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think 7 wins, I think it's possible. Before the schedule came out, I was thinking 8 or 9. And the schedule, the teams change so much. I mean, look at the Jets last year. You think, whoa, man, it's going to be tough to play the Jets. They lose their quarterback after 4 plays. So things happen, good and bad. Usually bad to this team, but we'll say good this time. I think they can do it. So I appreciate you kicking in and all that. What would be considered a win for the team with so much turnover? Yeah, I mean, this team is going to have the most turnover since I wrote it down. Make sure I got it right. Yeah, okay. So in 1945, when the vets came back from World War II, they had 63.4% roster turnover. Now, it was a much smaller roster, too, back then. In 1946, they did 55.8%. 2 other years before, 43, 44, they did 60%. Because if you were healthy and male in this country, you were probably in the service for World War II. So that's how far back we're talking that they're changing the roster that much this year since World War II. That's pretty amazing. So, the hardest part about that is developing chemistry. And you got a, rookie quarterback and all, but the chemistry, all these kind of things. So, 7 wins won't be bad. I think anything less than 6, you're kind of a little upset. Todd, thank you so much for kicking in. I appreciate everybody. IRL is dead. I have no idea what that means. The DB room hasn't changed much. Yeah, it's kind of one group. It did kind of stay together. That and then some of the D-line. How would they defend against A.J. Brown and CD? Well, that's going to be interesting. I'd like to see Camp a little more before I can really say that, but I have a feeling Are they going to go to more man this year than they did before? Or are they going to, or I mean, sorry, zone? Wouldn't surprise me if they go more to zone this year, but we will see. But yeah, still Forbes and St. Juice so far back there. Daniel, have you heard anything about wearing the padded helmets? Yeah, um, the players have the option of wearing a padded helmet this season. They wear them in practices and the preseason. They try. Now they look stupid, which is probably why a lot of them won't want to do it. But they do save a lot of linemen. Linemen are the guys that really wear it, not anybody else, because there's a lot of clanging of the helmets in that line. And so the smart person would wear it, but you do kind of look like something out of a Beavis and Butthead comic or something. I mean, cartoon. So I'm not sure how many guys will use it on it. I mean, listen, guys didn't wear jocks and stuff. They didn't wear helmets. They didn't wear helmets years ago in these things. So it takes time to make everybody adjust to those kind of things. I mean, there's a lot of players in speed positions, receivers and defensive backs, who don't like to wear thigh pads. They feel it slows them down, and the team has to like threaten them with fines, even in practice, to wear those pads so you don't get hurt. They're there for a reason. So guys will, not use them at times, and they will get fined. So that's how much resistance you have on these kind of things. Steve hopes the coaches make a big difference on D. Well, I mean, I like the new D coordinator. I mean, he's ready to bust you in the mouth. So I like that. This whole team, I saw a lot of energy when I was at rookie camp, and a lot of coaching staff energy. And these guys are still getting to know each other too, and there's so many of them anymore. I love how they have you're the interior linebacker coach, you're the outside linebacker coach. Seriously, the same guy can't coach three guys? Okay, whatever. Well, here's the thing. They got so much money to spend, they can afford to hire more coaches. But the NBA has, I think, like the Wizards, who stink, had like 15 coaches and 15 players. So everybody had their own coach. Boy, that worked out well. They won like 15 games. Something. I think they won 20 games. Something. It was bad though. So I don't know. More is better all the time. E. Well, there you go. Like a nice simple name. Do you think the former opposing NFC East coaches make a big impact in the Commanders' division record? I don't know if that matters so much. I mean, yeah, you took some guys off of Dallas, especially. Um, More coincidental, I think there. So I'm not. I don't think so. Gregory, are we expecting more office hirings? I don't know. I didn't see the two coming today. I mean, I thought they had enough guys, but this time of year is when you bring in front office people because their contracts go through the draft. So that's when front office people move around. So I can't imagine they have much room for anybody particularly more. You might see a couple people leave. That wouldn't surprise me on there. All right. Any word on the Wizards head coach, Joel? No. I think they're waiting for the NBA Finals, which is mid-June before that's done. Boy, basketball lasts forever. I don't watch a lot of NBA anymore anyway. The Wizards just kill me. The Wiz got the number 2 pick, just like the Commanders, just like the Nationals last year. So it'll be a year where there's only one good player in the whole world to draft, and we'll get some project guy. Lord, there's there's not a guy to take. Usually when they were picking like 4, it's like, oh, there's nobody left after 3. Come on, man. They're bouncing a ball all over this planet, and there's not 4 guys that could be good enough to come into the pros. Weird thing with all that. And now with this is pay, college athletes getting paid, I expect a bunch of them to hang out in college another year or so, because it used to be they all left because they needed money, and now you're getting money, so you best to stay in the college and improve your game. I saw so many guys leave a year early and then do nothing in the NBA. They blew their chance. They weren't ready. And in the NBA, especially, it's not your first contract, it's your second contract. That's what you want, because that's the big money. And true in the NFL too. But if you come in too early, you're not ready, you're not going to get to that second contract. Abe's still concerned with the left tackle. Well, again, Cornelius Lucas is going to be there, buddy. We're okay. Well, I like Cornelius Lucas. I think he'll be the opening day left tackle, and then maybe the rookie will come in after that. But Cornelius, I don't think is a 17 game player. I think he's a good spot starter and a relief, guy coming in for an injury, and he can give you some good short bursts of things. But over a 17 game season, I'm not sure that's going to work. But I think to start with them, and then they'll go, give the rookie a little more time and see how that works out. That's my guess on everything. So on this show, I noticed that most people watch about 15 minutes, which means if you were here at the beginning, you're probably saying, wait a minute, it's repeating questions. But, that's because I know the original people, a lot of them go, not everybody's great like Steve sticking around. So that's why I repeat things at times, including my begging for money. So if you hit that $sign underneath me here, we get a piece of it, and it helps keep going, on this. So I do appreciate it when everybody does it. And as I said earlier, I'm going to announce a meetup at a pizza place, Talk Football in Alexandria, sometime in June, and that's what I'm going to be confirming tomorrow, hopefully, about things. So stay tuned. Everybody wants to buy me a beer. I mean, you have to drive me home after this thing's over. I try not to drink as much anymore. Oh, last week I got through a major health test, and so I'm good again. Thank God. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens next. But I am going to cover this season. I was kind of wondering if that test came back badly. I wasn't going to, but I'm here. So thank you all for your positive thoughts and prayers on that. All right, Robert, any rumors about the June 1 cuts? Nope, haven't heard anything. I mean, I heard some speculation about Jonathan Allen, but it's just speculation that he'd be traded. And at this point, I have nobody on the inside saying such a thing. Been kind of hard to crack the inside. It's all new people. They haven't really got to know the media yet. You can't, buddy up to anybody quite yet. It takes a while to develop sources. So they're able to keep secrets for now. All right, Daniel. Well, I still wish you could come up here and meet me. Well, I can tell you, man, they got planes flying every day back and forth. Gregory, here's somebody that says he hopes Martin Mayhew stays. Okay, finally somebody says something nice. You guys are always like, death to everybody. Get them all out of here. Daniel, I should talk to Universal Studios and have you do a live stream from Universal. That'd be cool. I like Universal. All right, make it so. I'll show up. I'm going to Las Vegas. I'm getting ready to get my tickets. I'm going on a week that the team's on the road somewhere and playing a Monday night game, so I don't have to miss any games, but I can go to Vegas for 4 or 5 days with my wife, and haven't been there in 15 years. I got some money in my pocket from you guys. So thank you, Zach. See, I'll take that $5. Well, let it ride. Turn it into $1 million. How much do you and the other beat guys keep up with divisional opponents? Not as much as you might think, because, you're staring at what's in front of you more than anything. I can tell you anything about the Commanders. I can't tell you nearly as much about the other teams. You give it a passing interest, but your focus is really here. And I know everybody calls it Ashburn syndrome. Well, whatever. What do you want me to be an expert on the Giants and Philly and not this team? I put my energy into this team and all Washington teams. Really, I only have so much bandwidth here. So that's most of it. I mean, everybody notices some things about the other teams, but, you really focus on this. It's sort of like coaches that say, I watch film of that, it's like players go, I see their, defensive players say, I know this other team's offense, been watching their film. I haven't watched their defense at all. So that's the weird part of that. But thanks again, Zach. So, all right, Gregory, what do you think the stadium's new name should be? Well, I think there will be a new name before the season. They're not letting that money slip away and calling it Commanders Park or Stadium. They're not doing that. They're going to get some kind of deal in there. Even if it's short money, it's better than no money. I think they should call it Braves Stadium and rename the team Braves, but that's something else. Gee, you want to talk about the name? We haven't talked about the name in 20 minutes. Good Lord, you guys are slipping. I get so tired of that. Although I have said I'm all for changing the name back to Braves. Bring it, because there's a senator from Wyoming last week who blocked advancing the bill for RFK to go to DC's control, which then can do something with the team. And he's like, well, they need to honor the the family that was the Indian on the old emblem, and nobody disrespecting them. Where is this coming from? Oh, maybe they could put that logo on some merchandise, and some of the money could go to the tribe. Want to guess what that's all about? It's a shakedown. That's the world is always about money. Nobody's disrespecting that family with all that. They've talked to the family, but this dude's already thinking, yeah, this is my group of people who vote for me, and I'm going to do something to hold things up to help my people. Politics as usual. I will so vote for. With the election coming, I am voting for. If a politician would tell me, I'm not talking about my opponent. I'm going to tell you, we're going to worry about what we do well. This is what football coaches do. I'm worrying about us and how we can do well. So, Mr. Politician, tell me how you're going to make America and my life better. I don't need to hear it. The other guy's a bad guy. I need you to tell me what you're going to do. These politicians cannot get away from mudslinging. And that's why I'll never give any money to any of them, because all they want to do is spend on TV ads. There you go. There's my political part of the day. Okay. United Airlines Stadium, by the way, that's cool, Greg. I don't care what they call it, really. I mean, within reason. If it's Bob's Furniture Barn Stadium, no, it's not going to be good. Joel, upset with scheduling. I don't understand why they have Washington by December. We are screwed. Yeah, I don't know why 3 straight years has to be the second week of December. That's strange. You always want to have it. If in a perfect world, you'd have it around November 1st. Play about half your schedule and do it. And if they go to 18 games, they're going to go with a double bye, and they're going to 18 games. It's just a matter of when. The NFL is the greediest bunch of people we ever met. You just can't satisfy them. So they'll go to 18 games. And I don't think that it shortens players' careers like they talk about, because it's just one more game and in a season. They're not playing extra seasons or whatever. They're going to get paid for that game too. Players tend to last so many seasons, not so many games. I mean, yes, somebody will get hurt in the last game of the year, because somebody always gets hurt. But I reject that part of it. So if players want to get more money on it, go to 18 and 2 preseason. They can get rid of the preseason because nobody plays anybody. I will be interested to see what Dan Quinn does this preseason, but it's too early to ask him that. Commander Dan, how long before we're the class of the league? 3 years. I think they can, in 3 years, that's about where they're going to be under this coach. Whatever that number is. See, Tyler. I like Warriors. Yeah, they just don't want to do that, man, because the NFL is a big thing. But Braves, you could get away with, because you'd say, this team started out the Boston Braves. We're going back to the retro league. And if you don't like it, then you can talk to my lawyers. Al Davis said that and got away with it. Daniel, I lived all over Northern Virginia. Oh, wow. Quite a few places. What's the matter? You never pay rent and had to keep moving? I understand. Maybe OnlyFans will buy the stadium name, Steve. Well, then I can have an OnlyFans channel like I always dreamed of. I got to get this tan line fixed, but, or sunburn line, whatever we call it. But I'll work on it. Week 14 by 3 years in a row. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Only Rick's fans. Okay, Daniel, that's funny on there. So let's see. Father's Day is 3 weeks away, I think. So I just wanted to tell you, in case your dad is a fan, or maybe you're a dad and a fan, you can always get my Commander's book for those of you who haven't. And I know there's a lot of you who haven't, because we didn't sell that many of them overall. But if you want to do it, tell you what, I'll put it in the chat box right now. Tell you what, tonight only, $10. It's usually 20. And that's $10 with shipping and handling. So $10. I'm going to put in my PayPal address. It's an old email I have. Not yelling here. Just hit the caps lock. All right, $10. What the hell? We'll just make us because you guys are with me in the thick and thin of the off season. So it's got 100 stories. They're all short. It updated a couple years ago and it changed the name, but most of it's about Redskins. I updated, I think, 4 chapters. Well, I put in 4 new chapters if I think it's right, or 5, maybe 5, and updated the book. Best we could 2 years ago. So if you want to do it, there you go, $10 because usually it's 20. But since you guys have always been cool about things and you're here tonight, if you want one, I'll stick it in the mail next couple of days for you. All right. Anyway, back to questions. My dog said, "What's up?" All right, Gabe. Well, I say hi to your dog for me. I'm not saying anything mean there after that. All right. Oh, Daniel got one as a present last Christmas. There you go. Somebody was smart. The book sold pretty decently. The book's almost 10 years old overall. I'm still cranking out a few bucks out of it here and there. And I will sign the book, Robert. Yep. Since you get it from me, you can get it from Amazon. Actually, it'll cost you more than the $10. And I can't sign it because Amazon prints them. Amazon now prints them like one at a time or something. The Redskins version's gone. You can't get it anymore. I tried to get my publisher to let me get some, and they won't do it. They want everybody to buy the Commander stock. So the way it goes. Yeah, Tyler's right. The NFL doesn't want the Warriors name. But like I said, I go to Braves and then say, see my lawyers. Al Davis moved his franchise twice, told the NFL go below. They never beat him at anything. So, Dan's gone now. They're not going to change the name, though. Not anytime soon. I know we've had a couple, like Florio was on Pro Football Talk today doing conspiracy theories, whatever. He's got his gig. I got mine. But there's nothing afoot at the moment about this. So we'll see. All right. We're halfway through the show. I didn't yet to talk about anything real because there's not a lot going on right now. Like I said, we see about an hour and a half of practice because there's not a lot. These practices this time of year aren't very long. They don't let them do it under the CBA agreement. So there's not a whole lot to say. I just kind of look for athletic moves and people would show up out of nowhere and just see what happens. LimeWire, who do you think will be the punt return and kick returner this year? The kick return, I'm not sure what's going to go on given this new system they have of kick returns. I'd be real interested to see what that's about. I know how they're going to do it. I just really got to see it to believe it, kind of thing. Punt return, I don't know. I mean, even Dax Milne was looking at it. Gosh, who was doing it last week? Somebody was returning punts just to do it. Can't remember. I don't know. We got a while before we figure that out. Steve, thanks so much for chipping in. I wish they dropped the black unis. Me too. The black uniforms are the Steelers. I just thought they were ugly. I didn't like them. I like the burgundy. The white's okay. The white's okay, but I like the burgundy better. That's kind of cool. And the helmet, I like the helmets. They pop as far as that, metallic red, whatever you call it. And Major Tut, someone in the team reminded me, Major Tutty is for kids. And I'm not a kid. so I guess I'm a mean old guy. I just think it's dumb, but whatever. That kind of thing. Gabe, only let me send it to you. Goods and services, not friends and family. Okay. So you're going to $12. Okay. And Venmo doesn't take anything out. And Venmo is owned by PayPal. So I don't understand why they do things differently, but okay. Appreciate it. So Gabe, I'll, let's see if it comes through. It hasn't come through yet. Okay. But it will. I'll take care of it the next day. I know it's early, but do you think what you're hearing about Jaden Daniels? Okay, so just watching Jaden one practice, good arm. I mean, I've seen the film, but until you're really down on the field and watching certain things, you won't get the true appreciation for it. And man, I saw him just like flick his wrist sometimes and throw him frozen ropes. He can throw the far ones real well. I have no hesitations about his arm at all. He seems to know the playbook really smart. Reminds me a lot. RG3 was like that. He came into camp and knew the playbook. So, and that's hard to do because like rookie camp day was I don't know, 2 weeks after the draft. So it wasn't a lot of time. And to show up here and know that is unusual. And so I was impressed with that. Seems like a decent guy, talking to him. So I was thought it was very positive what I've seen of Jaden. I think they picked the right guy. I was thinking he might go May, but I think Jaden was the right guy for him. Just hope he stays healthy. Daniel, put a dress on the mascot and let it be a hoggette. Yeah, but I don't know. We'll probably get some kind of sex discrimination, something about that kind of thing too. So whatever. Gabe, okay, name's Derek. Don't rush. Take my time. Well, I like when people buy a book. I like to get it in the mail. There it goes. It is here. Your order's in. See, that's how it works. So I appreciate it. I'll try and stop by the post office tomorrow. It doesn't take long to put a book in an envelope, but I do appreciate Gabe buying. Tyler, I like the new unis, but hate the new shade of burgundy. See, I don't think that. Well, okay, I get you. It's not the true burgundy. The true burgundy. One time, I'll tell you a story about it. 1969, Vince Lombardi comes in, and the team had been doing their uniforms with the same group for a long time. But Vince's brother-in-law was an apparel salesman with some competing sports company, and so Vince threw his brother-in-law the business. The uniforms show up hours before the game, and they're a shade off, but there's no time to change it. So they had to go forward with it that season. And everybody said, "Oh, Lombardi changed the color." He didn't have any choice, and then they changed it back after that. That's how crazy that was. You didn't think they'd say, "Well, we'll play the first game with these, and then we want new ones in." I guess they didn't get his brother-in-law in trouble. And then Vince died the next year, so things were changed after that. RJ, it would be heroes if they put a dress on the mascot. All right, well, send that into 21300 Redskin Park Drive. I guess I don't know if it's called that or Commanders Park Drive now. And you can tell the team that's what you want. That would be, I don't know, man. I think they'd have all this transgender yelling about things if you did that now. If you started off with a hoggette, that might have actually been a better received. But now with all these, things, I don't know. I'm too old to know about things like this. I don't think you can do it now. Maybe they should have done it before. That would have been interesting. All right. Greg, are we doing joint preseason practices? Have not been announced yet. I know that they've talked with other teams. Wouldn't surprise me if they do something, say with Baltimore or an AFC team. But there's been some talk. I know they're talking about it. So at best, I can just say right now, maybe. Let's see the preseason schedule, because that's sometimes who your joint practices, right? They're at the Jets and at Miami. I remember once I went to Miami and they had 3 days of it. Had a hell of a fight, one of the practices. And then New England's the third game here. So, but that's late in the preseason. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it with one of the first two opponents. And the Jets, well, I don't know, maybe they'd be on Hard Knocks. Miami, it's hot in Miami and hot in Florida in August, man. I remember they one time went to Tampa too, and they had fights and all. It's just roasting hot. People down there are like outdoor workers in Florida, man. In the afternoon, it's just too hot. And I agree with you on that one. William, like to order a book through Venmo, but still waiting for presidential pours. What? William, you haven't gotten a book since then? All right. So, William, we got to fix that. I'll fix that now. If you send that Rick Snyder 99, go ahead and just send me your info to that email. I'll look it up for you, and I will have that in the mail for you tomorrow. I'm sorry about that. Were you the one I had to send a second book to once before? Because every once in a while, the post office just eats one. That happens now and then. And I just need to know. I don't mind. Here it is in my hand. I'll have it send an envelope for you by the morning, and you'll get it out of here. So email me to the Rick Snyder 99 at AOL. That's an old email of mine. I'll look at it, and I will take care of it for you tomorrow. I'm sorry about that, but it's the damn post office killing me. And LimeWire just got yours too. So thank you so much for that. Let's see. This is just making sure everything's here. Yep, got it. Okay. I never know where you guys live. It's kind of wild. People, that's why I always say 8 to 9 Eastern. And everybody's like, of course it's Eastern. Well, no, a lot of you live all over the country. So, yeah, William, definitely send me an email to that. We will take care of that today. And RJ, any word lately on how Sonny's doing? I saw Sonny like the last game of the season, somewhere there. I thought he was looking very good, better than I'd seen in a while. He seemed, in really good shape. I mean, he's 89, I think, but he's doing fine. Okay, so yeah, William, definitely send that to me. I'll take care of you. Lime, you're in Central Time. Yeah, it must be weird being 1 hour off. But I always thought it'd be cool to live on the West Coast because then you have games at like 10 in the morning. I don't know. Does anybody get to go to church? I always saw these shows where guys had to miss games because he went to church. And I thought, what are you talking about? Church is done by 1:00. Well, not back there. So, Shane, thank you so much. Just got yours. Appreciate it. Oh, you want 3? No problem. I got a whole box sitting here. Not a problem. Down to 757. All right, good. All right. Daniel says they should be cowgirls, female, bulls are male. Okay, I'll get into that one. So, let's see, what else? Do you like the new Commander's media broadcasting crew, specifically Command Center? That's the one with Santana and Fred, right? And somebody else. I've kind of seen it. I saw it like rookie camp. They were live on the side. I mean, Fred can talk the ears off anyone, man. Fred can talk. I've known him since he was a rookie. And Santana's a very cool guy. I like Santana a lot. I think they both are very smart, know what they're talking about. And Logan's the other one, right? And he knows what he's talking about. So they're pretty good guys. And if you listen to them, you'll learn a lot about football. The Commanders media, which technically is a competitor of mine, so I'm not loving them for that. But I think their social media and all those other things have exponentially gotten better in the last couple of years. They're so much better than it used to be. That said, it's a house organization, so there's always that limitation there. Tigger's boy, yeah, Hawaii game started at 7 a.m. That had to be fun. I used to do Hawaii radio for years, and I always used to guy. Does anybody care? He goes, oh yeah, all his servicemen are out here in Hawaii, Pearl Harbor, all that. So yeah, they have lots of sports talk out there, and they quit calling me after a while for some reason. That's fine. I do enough radio, TV, and we do not get paid for it. So don't think I'm getting rich off that. I've never gotten a dime out of anybody on radio or TV. I got paid a little bit, a couple of times. I haven't done TV in a while. Well, now we do it through Zoom for TV, believe it or not. But nobody pays me, but it's professional favors. Let's see. Lime, while I'm excited for Jaden, I'm looking forward to Luke McCaffrey. So I saw a little bit of McCaffrey, and I have to admit I was a little skeptical when they took him in the 3rd round and thought, what? But just watching him on the field, good hands, smart route runner. Talking to him, I can tell that he's had, a father and a brother in the NFL. You can see that NFL, confidence in him and how to handle things. And, it's not new to him because he's watched his family go through this. So that's always a positive. So I think he could be the 3rd receiver. I mean, I think 3rd receiver is pretty wide open. So it could be him. The rising tide thing, I don't think so. Their benefit doesn't exactly spill over to me, or we're all on our own for that. But I got 40. How many years am I doing this now? 46. Yeah. So you either know who I am now or you don't. And I'm only going to be on for so long. I don't have another 46 years in me. So we'll see. But having said that, as I mentioned earlier, I passed a big physical test that I was having some real problems. Turned out to be a medication reaction. that nobody figured out for 6 months and let me suffer. But I feel okay now. So be careful when you get new meds. You got to really be skeptical and be your own doctor, because these doctors should have known better and helped me out there, jerks. But that's the way it goes. And okay, so William, I got your email, but I need the address. Make sure, I know you're going to order the other one, but go ahead and send me the address, and I will too. So I make sure we get this out tomorrow, because I really hate seeing that happen. I don't want people to think I've screwed you. That's the last thing I feel like I want to do. I'm always customer service. That's why, I'm a tour guide. A lot of you know that. A bunch of you are coming on tours very soon with me in town. And customer service is important. And it's important as a journalist, too. The late Rich Chandler really taught me that, because we were used to being in a bubble. And Rich was like, no, man, you work for the public, even though they don't directly pay you. But if you got to treat your public right. And so I'm a little better about it now. But I want people to be happy with the experience. How much longer do they stay at FedEx Field, Mike? Till like 2029 or 30, whatever, and they may stay at the Landover site. If they don't get that RFK, they'll probably build next to the old FedEx. What they're going to, if they do stay at the FedEx site, state of Maryland's put money on the table trying to get it to happen. They will build it, if you know where the metro side of it is. What I understand, the stadium will be closer to the metro down that side. They'll knock down the old FedEx and put parking there. So they did that like in Philly with the vet and the link on there. Yeah, Lime. Yeah, Rich was good. I gave Rich his first start covering the team, writing for a magazine that I ran and still run. And Rich worked hard and moved his way up and got a break and did very well. And it was just a tragedy. He died, very suddenly of a heart attack. And the weirdest part about Rich dying is he and I were talking about a mutual friend, Steve Guback, who had just died. And I was doing his obituary for the press box announcements. And Rich came over to talk to me about something. Had no idea that next Sunday I'd be doing Rich's obituary announcement. I was one of his pallbearers. It was an honor to do it. But, wow, is that sad. Kenny, do you change the name before we move to the new stadium? Yeah, I would. I mean, it's empty right now. You're not going to go 5 years without a team name. Think how much money is lost. Even if you sell a name for a few million a year, it's still a few million a year to a guy that just paid $6 billion, got a big debt service. You cannot leave money on the table like that. You've got to sell that name to somebody for something. And maybe you tell them, listen, come in 5 years, kind of cheap here, fill the void. And then we have a new deal for the new stadium. I'll cut you a break on the back end a little bit there. That's a very simple, basic business proposition. So something's coming. What it is, I don't know. Don't care. Okay. Let's see something else here. Okay, William, I got your thing. So I'll put in both books to you. You'll have them where you live. It should be there by the end of the week. If it's not, send me some of that email again, but it should be. Okay. Gregory, I think they need to dig a hole somewhere by Christmas or New Year's. No, they're not. They'll be lucky if they have a deal in place by Christmas. I don't think they will, especially if the senator holds it up. See, the problem with this is they can't get it to a vote with this guy objecting. And Congress basically goes through July. They take August off through Labor Day. That's a historic thing because it's, 1 billion degrees in DC. So in the days before air conditioning, everybody got out of town in August. Well, Congress decided to keep that 5-6 weeks off anyway. And they'll come back in September, but they're not going to do anything major before November election. So you may be kicking this for a year just because of this nonsense. That's the sad part of this. Antoinette, yes, Maryland is trying to keep the Commanders. They put money on the table, and I'm sure the owner is trying to figure out how much can DC give them, because they just gave Ted Leonis a $500 million, and use that as leverage against Maryland. It's that kind of thing. And theoretically, Virginia's in it, but I don't think so. So I don't expect that to, you're going to trust the Virginia legislature to come up with money for a football stadium after they just killed that arena deal? I don't think so. Team name, when does that change, Kenny? Well, if it changes, and I'm not saying it will, I think you change it when you go to the new stadium and have a whole new era of whatever it's going to be. But of course, 2/3 of you will hate the new name. So it's not like we're going to make everybody happy. That's just how this works. So I don't know. By then, 6 years, I'll be covering this team in 6 years. Well, if I'm still alive, who knows? Maybe. I always wanted to go 50 years as a sports writer. That for me would be 2028. So if knock on wood, my health's good, why not? God, does that sound like forever? 50 years. I want my name on the press box after that. Okay, Kenny generally agrees, but if you keep it for 5 years, why bother changing? And if you win something, do you change it? There's the other, I don't want to say danger of that because, they win a Super Bowl, you'll be singing Hail to the Commanders. But it is one of the factors. Mike, can't keep the name Snyder came up with. Yeah, go back to Braves. See, I like Braves. Augustine the King, he's got a bell. Oh, here's my bell. There you go. See, we ring the bell. Hey, kick in $5 on the thing and I'll ring the bell for you. Or buy a book, we'll ring the bell for you. How about that? All right. Wait a second. I'm down with the Braves in the league, compact sand. That's what I say. Screw them. The NFL's got a lot of ghosts in their skeletons in their closets. Ghosts too. That's what Dan Snyder was banking on and staying, but his got public. Everything involving Snyder must go, says Kenny. There you go. Yeah, they're going to change Redskin Park and Commanders Park in a few years. I mean, it's getting too small because it was built back when, they had smaller rosters, and you got an extra, I don't know, 20 some people now between the practice squad too than you did back then. So, there's not enough parking. I have to park out in the field, all the reporters. It's a nice field. It's not that far away, but we don't get to park in the parking lot anymore. I used to park there, but there's just not enough spaces. Plus, they built a bubble that took out a few. Bubble's nice, by the way. I do like that instead of standing out in the rain. Gregory guesses training camps in Ashburn. I was thinking about this today. Yeah, I'm sure it is in Ashburn. I don't have a date yet. I was thinking about that today. I wonder when it is. It's always X amount of days before the first preseason game, but the Jets preseason game opener doesn't have a date assigned to it yet. But it's going to be August 1st, give or take a day or two, somewhere in there. Only fans feel. There you go, Nate. Where they're naked in the, naked on the field or whatever it's called. They stripped them bare, whatever. I better get away from that, whatever. Okay, Kenny, have I been to other team facilities? Been to a few over the years. Baltimore is really nice. I went to the old Redskin Park. Now, the old Redskin Park compared to the current one is like a Shoppers Food Warehouse compared to Trader Joe's or something like that. If that makes any sense. The old place, but the old place had 3 Super Bowl wins. It's like today the team can players eat really great meals. I think I've been down there. Great food. Well, they won 3 Super Bowls, eat McDonald's every day. So it's kind of like, it's not the building, it's not the walls, it's it's the people and But that said, you do want a locker room that's big enough for everybody. It's gotten a little small for that reason. But that doesn't mean that's not why they went 4-13 last year. Who has more success in year one, the OC or the DC? Nate, I would say the DC. I think he's got more to work with, and it's easier. I don't know if it's easier to be a better defense than an offense. That's a great question. I think you can get up to speed faster on defense though. You just got to hit people. You got to anticipate. I mean, I'm sure they would disagree with me, but offense, I think, is a little harder to do than defense. But that's just a guess. Okay. So anyway, about other training ones. I've been to Miami's. It was nice. Tampa's. Pittsburgh. New York. Well, it's been a while since I've been to anybody's. I'm sure they're all better now. OnlyFans sponsored by Astroglide. Oh my lord, I'm getting too old for these kind of things going on, Clayton. I thought OnlyFans is the joke everybody knows now. I thought it was some sports site that came out, about you were fans of a team. So I sent a note about wanting to start one, and they said, well, you have to do it without a shirt on, and I thought, well, that's kind of weird, but okay. And I didn't realize you were only fans of that. I didn't know any of that stuff. So I'm an old married man. I guess maybe that means I should know, but I didn't know what I thought it was pretty funny overall. I mean, who knew? I mean, I, I'd like the money that they're making. If we can get, hey, $1,000, you can see me do this show without my shirt on. How about that? Yeah, for $2,000, I won't take my shirt off. How about that? I just really dare you. People will pay me more to keep my shirt on. That'd be a new way to do it. All right, what we got? 7 minutes. Wow, this hour went by quick. We talked about just nonsense. We're down to this again on it. Let's see. So this week, but for those of you who weren't around at the beginning, OTA Wednesday to the media, so I'll be able to talk afterwards about stuff from the park area. I often sit at Wegmans. There's a Wegmans about a mile or so away, and they're right now they're actually rebuilding the media rooms and stuff. So there's nowhere really to work. So I go over to Wegmans. I get a big piece of pizza, soda, sit upstairs. They got tables. I write my story, eat my pizza. And, I got their Wi-Fi, and that's where I file from. So it's not a bad press box. At least I sit there and eat pizza while I do it. That's the craziness of how that works sometimes. And the practice is, I think it's, let's see, let me look. Practice on Wednesday is, we talked to Dan Quinn at 11:55, and then practice is 12:15 to 1:30. So 2:00-ish, I'll be filing something, about what I've seen. What will I see? I don't know. We'll see what I see on everything. Coming in the last few minutes, if you got a question, hit it. Did anything come of Dan wearing the hybrid Redskins commander shirt? Asked Flying Turtle. Well, I bet he doesn't do it again, because I'm sure, he did it without understanding what a landmine he stepped on doing that. I'm sure somebody in the team explained to him, don't do that. So, because it wasn't even NFL gear or anything. That was a bootleg shirt somebody made. So the NFL really hates when they don't make any of the money. That's the cardinal rule not to break. So I'm sure, you're not going to see it again. So, and it wasn't a trial balloon. It wasn't any of that stuff. It was a coach that thought it looked cool and didn't understand what he was doing by wearing it. I'm surprised nobody else in the organization stopped him to say, hey, dude, don't do this. First day these kind of things happen, I guess. But it gave everybody something to talk about forever on there. All right. 5 minutes. None of the good TV, all the TV shows are over. Did you notice? There hadn't been a jack on TV. They had that strike, and then they threw us a few shows to watch, and now they're all gone, and now it's going to be summertime. I did like that that island one where Howie Mandel did where he counted down the numbers, whatever it was called, and somebody could have won like $20 million. It was pretty cool. Boston Rob didn't win. All right. Greg, do you think Josh Harris continues dumping more money upgrading Commander Stadium? Yes. Yeah, I think, at least they try and keep it running. That's the hard part. Like, if you got an old car, now you got to decide, do I want to spend 40 grand on a new car, or do I want to keep bleeding out 2 grand, 3 grand for the old car to keep going? I did the latter, and then I spent a bunch of money, and then a year later, boom, more of it went wrong because my SUV's got 266,000 miles on it. And I had to pay that money again and thought, geez, I could have had a hell of a down payment on a new vehicle. But you never know how it's going to work. You don't know what's the next thing to break. Please, nothing break now. So I think he puts it in, enough to keep things going. You won't see something really new and shiny, but you got to keep keep bailing water on the place. We'll get some new duct tape. Things will be fine there. Um, Flying Turtle is surprised. You were surprised about the shirt. What about everybody else? What's that? But I know it was a simple case of a coach just not understanding. Thou shalt not step on the name situation. Don't do that. Yeah. Clayton, the more he fixes, ticket prices rise. Well, who do you think pays for things? Ain't him. It's you. What do you think the prices are going to be like at the new stadium? I have not heard the words PSL yet, but it wouldn't scare me otherwise. But if I, as a taxpayer, got to put hundreds of millions into that stadium, it better not be a PSL on there, or else just don't take state money if you want to play that game. But hey, the new stadium's going to cost a couple bill. So who's paying for it? Fans. NFL could let everybody in for free. They could give you hot dogs for free, parking free, and they'd still make money. TV pays for everything. All this is extra yacht money. Really. Clayton, fix the bathrooms. Well, I don't use the restrooms, the public ones. We have one in the press box, so I'll use it. It's not golden, whatever. It's a old bathroom too, to be honest. But so I haven't been in the ones down below to know what you're facing. But let's just hope it's not awful. I hope they're not selling beer in the bathrooms anymore. I mean, you don't buy beer, you rent it, but still, that's just nasty to do something like that. All right, so last call. If you want to do the $10 deal for the book, send it in. Tonight. You don't have to do it right this minute, but do it tonight because it will go back to 20 for Father's Day or 15. I don't know. I do whatever. You guys are good enough to watch me on this. Whatever. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button before we go. That makes the algorithm happy. And the algorithm is, king of everything. They send me half my traffic because I know that's why I always start the show saying, please like, share, subscribe. That's the algorithm going, yes, 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 Rick. Okay, you've done what I've wanted you to do, and now I will send you people. If you stop, I will stop too. It's just how this click whore works, Sad, but true. So, yeah, a couple of you just said, thanks so much for that. That helps. All right, and our hour is up. Boy, that went quick. So, you think 2 minutes is quick? An hour. Steve, I got to get some crabs. You're right about that. I've been really thinking about it. Found out an old friend of mine has become a commercial crabber. And I thought, ooh, I got to call him because I want big ones. I'll pay them. I just don't. I hate small crabs. Life's too short for small crabs. Don't eat them. I'll pay for them. At this point in my life, I can afford them. So thanks to the generosity of you guys. So I do appreciate it. I have the kids come over, my kids who are grown, and nobody ever says, "Hey, Dad, I'll bring crabs this time," or "Hey, Dad, how about we pay for them?" No, you don't see any of that happen. No. So I wish it was Father's Day. Oh, Dad, we're bringing crabs over. You don't hear about that happening. They're like, Dad, are you going to have crabs there? Oh, man, you never stop grabbing checks as a parent, which is why I'm always looking for money. That's why I cut my own grass. That's why I do to get my own oil change, that kind of stuff. Anyway, Kenny, thank you so much for coming. Antoinette, you too. Antoinette, one of these days, you're always around. We got to meet. Maybe come to the big meetup in June. Be glad to see the regulars, that are always here. It'd be cool to meet you guys. Like I said, the next couple of days I'll announce we're going to do a Old Town Alexandria tour. It's about 90 minutes. A lot of great history, George Washington, up to the Civil War kind of stuff. And then we'll hopefully do a pizza place right there and have some fun and talk Commanders for whatever. And tickets for the tour are like $25. I'm not going to do a huge crowd, because then I can't spend enough time with people. So it's coming out next couple of days, I think. Wye River, where is that, Milton? Maryland crabs are the best. They flee the Virginia tyranny to come up to the Chesapeake Bay and be beloved by us. And I am an Old Bay guy more than J.O. or OJ or whatever it is. I forget. I've tried both, and I think they're owned by the same company, but I like Old Bay better. Maybe I'm just used to it on there. So I'm looking forward. Matter of fact, it was Mother's Day. I went by this crab place in Southern Maryland. It had to be 30 people standing out in line outside to get crabs. I mean, you're probably in that line a good hour. Woo! It's crab season. But I always wait till Memorial Day because they're small, kind of thing. Yeah, Clayton, it is a fun tour. You're going to see like George Washington's old house and the church he went on, places that the founding fathers partied. I mean, those guys drank. That's why I wrote Presidential Pours. The first deaths of the Civil War at a hotel fighting over the flag, stuff like that. Pirates. This place where all the captains row, where all the ship captains lived. It was kind of some fun stuff. Oh, Eastern Shore. Okay, I got you. Milton. So it is a fun tour. It's only like 90 minutes. It's a pretty easy walk for anybody. And I'm probably going to limit it to 25, 30 people because can't have a mob going down the sidewalks. You won't be able to hear anything. So we'll do it that way. But it'll be fun. And I might do it. Yeah, if people want to keep coming, we'll do it maybe once a month or something. And we'll just talk Commanders. We used to do this years ago with Redskins. And I know the Colts fans used to do it too. Media would come out and talk to you about stuff. Now you have more access to us than before, but it's a different experience. And some of you are coming on tour with me in the next week. I have somebody that's doing a Presidential Pours drinking tour for their son's 21st birthday. So we're going to, I guess he hasn't had a drink yet. Yeah. Okay. Sure, Dad. We're doing that. That's going to be fun. Taking somebody else on the Booth tour through Southern Maryland where John Wilkes Booth went. If you saw the Apple Plus thing on John Wilkes Booth, boy, I had a billion mistakes. Yes, he did shoot Lincoln. The rest of they had, it wasn't exactly right. But that's TV for you on things. I had somebody from a Hollywood film company contact me a couple weeks ago. He said, hey, we'd love to talk to you about that 87 strike team. We're thinking about making a movie. Dude, that was called The Replacements with Keanu Reeves, but that was so long ago and nobody watched it. I said, I'll be glad to talk to you, but I want something for my time. And they said, oh, sorry, I can't hear you. Goodbye. Fine with me. That's how it works sometimes. Make sure he eats on the Pours tour. Well, I think we're going to see a bunch of places and drink at the last one. And his parents are going to be coming with them. So maybe his dad can make sure he eats something. Yeah, well, 21, never had a drink. Hey, good for you, brother, if that's true. I drank more before I turned 18 when it was legal than I have since. And I learned my lessons about don't mix beer and liquor. Ooh, in case you don't know that lesson, take it from me. Don't mix, stay with beer or stay with liquor, but don't mix them. Not a good thing. If you want to do some puking stories. Bleh. Okay, are we done? I guess we're done. I'm talking about puking and drinking. That's a country song in the making. We'll do work on that too. Be my next life. I am working on a play that I've written it, and we're going to actually film it's called The Sermon Writer, and it's about an angel who becomes writes sermons for a preacher and takes them to the sun. Anyway, we're going to have a live read on YouTube. It's about an hour long. I'm trying to get it into production of some sort. So that's something else I'm working on. I don't sit around and, do nothing. I usually am doing something. So as always that. But anyway, thank you all for coming so much. I appreciate it. I'm Rick Snyder for Rick Snyder's Washington. Thanks for coming. I'm going to see everybody soon. William, I know how that is. And I'll see everybody soon. Thanks everybody for coming again. And remember, videos in the morning, 6 a.m., where I'm talking tomorrow morning about the 3 hardest games in a row that this team will face, according to some study on all that. We've got a bunch of different stuff. And then there's one around dinner time too. That's on there. You guys have been great following in the off season. So, like I said, thanks everybody, and I will see you soon.